收看的是华视教育文化频道。接下来要播出的是英文一。
Hello everyone, welcome to Watch English One. Today we will cover Unit 13. 大家好，欢迎收看英文一的第13课。My name is Michelle Guo, 我是郭晓晴。The guest speaker for this unit is Mr. Anthony Carlisle. Mr. Anthony Carlisle is originally from Britain. Hello,
Hello,
Anthony.
Michelle, and hello everyone. It's good to be here.
Great to have you. Anthony, can you tell us what organization you have been working for?
Yes, for the last 3 years I've been working for the Garden of Hope Foundation. It's a big NGO, a non-government organization that helps women and children who suffered domestic abuse at home.
安东尼老师呢，他是在立新基金会工作。那这个基金会呢是非营利的组织。The previous units, we have talked about watching movies in the theater and also movie etiquette. Anthony, do you like movies?
I do, yes. They're one of my guilty pleasures. I don't get much time to watch them these days, but I do like movies.
安东尼老师呢很喜欢看电影，但是其实现在大家工作都非常的忙碌，所以比较没有什么时间看电影。If you do have a chance to watch a movie, do you go to a movie theater or do you watch a movie on a computer?
If I'm taking my children out, of course we go to the movie theatre for the atmosphere. But these days I tend to watch movies on my computer more often.
Right. 其实现在因为科技比较发达，很方便，所以其实常常看电影呢，都是就是在电脑上看就可以了。Now, this unit, we will continue to talk about going to movies. And first, we will watch a video between two students discussing movies.
Great.
Let's watch it.
Hello, Samantha.
Hi.
What are you up to?
I'm preparing an application for graduate school.
Really? You finally made up your mind.
Sort of. I'm not entirely sure what I want to study. I'm torn between cross-cultural studies and mass communication.
Well, choosing a major is a daunting task. I will tell you that.
You said it.
You probably need to take your mind off the application for a while so that you can think more clearly.
You are right. For the last hour, I've been beating my brains out trying to figure out which program to apply to. I can really use a break.
Do you have any plans tonight? A few of us are going to a movie. Would you like to join us?
Sounds like a good idea. What movie do you have in mind?
The new Hunger Games has just been released in the theater. I have seen the first one and will definitely not miss the sequel.
But I'm not really in the mood for a sci-fi movie.
Come on, have you seen the first Hunger Games? It was a massive box office success. It is a gigantic adventure movie which may be one of the biggest movie franchises of this decade. It's about a dysfunctional world in which the government selects youth from different districts to compete with one another in the televised supporting event.
That sounds really brutal. The level of violence and brutality makes the film almost surreal. Could we watch something that is more lighthearted?
Okay, you probably don't like sci-fi movie. So, what kind of movie do you prefer?
How about a comedy? I really need a laugh to take my mind off those complicated application procedures.
Sure, almost everyone likes a good comedy. If you like a comedy, you must like Dumb and Dumber too.
Dumb and Dumber? Isn't that an old movie featured Jim Carrey?
Bingo! Dumb and Dumber 2 is a sequel from the 1984 movie Dumb and Dumber. The first one was genuinely hilarious. I always thought there would be the second Dumb and Dumber flick, but it took 20 years to make it happen.
Jim Carrey is one of the famous comic actors in the movie industry.
Yes.
Without a doubt, I am part of the Jim Carrey mania. I have seen many of his movies, including The Mask, Liar Liar, The Truman Show, Bruce Almighty, and Yes Man. Any movie with Jim Carrey in it, even if it's a serious film, will guarantee laughs.
Yes, so we will conjure in.
Definitely. When are you guys meeting?
We are meeting at the theater at 7:30.
Great, I'll meet you there.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
These students really like to watch movies.
They do, yes.
Have you seen any of the movies that they mentioned?
I've seen some of the older ones they mentioned, like Dumb and Dumber and some of the Jim Carrey movies.
Oh, yeah, I like Jim Carrey too. So I've seen a lot of his movies.
Yes, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective is one of my favorites, but that was a long time ago.
Right. 那金凯瑞的电影可能很多同学都有机会看到哦。好，我们现在来看这一段的绘画的课文讲解。Anthony, would you please read the conversation sentences for us?
I'd love to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Joan. Hello, Samantha. What are you up to?
Hi, 萨曼莎，你在做什么呢 ？What are you up to？ 也就是 What are you doing 的意思。通常是朋友之间打招呼的一个用语，是一个比较不正式的一个用法。那一般来讲，如果要正式一点的话，会说 What are you doing？ 或者是 What have you been doing lately？ Next.
Samantha, I'm preparing an application for graduate school.
我正在准备要申请研究所的东西。Application 是申请，那或者是可以指的是申请表。那它的 application 的动词呢是 apply。那这边有提到申请什么呢 ？Graduate school， 那是研究所。The study after the undergraduate。那大学呢，大学部就是在研究所之下，所以我们说 undergraduate。Next.
Joan, really? You finally made up your mind.
真的吗？你终于下定决心了吗 ？Make up one's mind 是片语，下定决心。Next.
Samantha, sort of. I'm not entirely sure what I want to study. I am torn between cross-cultural studies and mass communication.
大概吧，我其实还不确定我到底想读什么呢？我是要读跨文化研究呢，还是要念大众传播呢 ？Sort of 是口语中比较不正式的用法，就好像说 kind of、somewhat， 大概吧，有一些的意思。Entirely 呢是副词，那它的形容词呢是 entire， 全部的意思。Not entirely sure 就是不太完全确定的意思。Torn 是动词 tear 的过去分词 ，be torn between something and something else 是说在两者之间呢，不知道要怎么决定，因为可能两者都差不多，那没有办法选择，那我们就说 torn between。那这边有讲到两个选择，一个就是跨文化研究 （cross-cultural studies）， 那另外一个是 mass communication， 也就是大众传播。Next.
Joan, well, choosing a major is a daunting task, I'll tell you that.
选择主修呢，真的是很困难耶。我真的要这样讲。那 I'll tell you that 在这边其实它并没有真正的意思，它是说非常强调刚刚所讲的东西。那 choosing a major 在这一句呢是动名词当这一句的主词 ，task 是工作或者是一个事项。Next.
Samantha, you said it.
你说的一点都不错。You said it 是I agree 的意思。那也可以说you can say that again， 再讲一次啊，意思就是我同意你的说法。Next.
Joan, you probably need to take your mind off the application for a while so that you can think more clearly.
不过呢，你可能先要把申请的这个难题丢开来，不要想，这样可能等一下呢，反而可以思考得更清楚一点。Take one's mind off 是不要去想它，把它抛诸在脑后的意思。For a while 是一小段时间 ，so that 是所以。 的一个连接词。那 think more clearly 是要再想得清楚一点 ，clearly 是副词，很清楚的，那它是修饰动词 think。那如果说我们要讲，再想的仔细一点呢，就是 think more carefully。那想快一点呢，就是 think more quickly。Next.
Samantha, you are right. For the last hour, I've been beating my brains out trying to figure out which program to apply to. I can really use a break.
你说的对。对于要申请哪一科呢？我想了差不多快1个小时，头都快想破了，真的需要休息一下。Beating one's brains out 是说绞尽脑汁的意思。那当然，按照它的字面的解释呢，就是把脑袋都快打破了，意思就是说，真的用脑用得很厉害。那在这边呢，beating，one's brains out， 那个 beating 呢？就是在这边 have been beating， 就是从刚刚一直到现在，它是一个现在完成式现在完成进行式的一个用法。那 out 后面是介系词，所以后面呢动词就必须要加动词 ing， 所以后面要加 trying to figure out。我试着要去思考一些东西。apply to 是申请什么，或者是向什么地方申请。那 use a break 呢，也就是 need a break， 需要休息一下，或者是 take a break 的意思。Next.
Joan, do you have any plans for tonight? A few of us are going to a movie. Would you like to join us?
你今天晚上有什么计划呢？我和一群人要去看电影，要不要一起来呀？Would you like to join us? 其实就是说 Would you like to come with us? 想不想一起去啊 ？Next.
Samantha, sounds like a good idea. What movie do you have in mind?
听起来很不错呢。你们想要看什么电影呢？听起来是 sound like。那还有其他，比如说看起来怎么样啊，尝起来怎么样啊？尝起来、吃起来味道怎么样？我们可以说 taste like。那听起来怎么样 ？sounds like。那感觉起来怎么样？我们可以说 feel like。have something in mind 是说 to be thinking of something 想到些什么。好 ，next。
Joan, the new Hunger Games has just been released in the theatre. I have seen the first one and will definitely not miss the sequel.
新的饥饿游戏呢已经上映了，我看过了第1集，绝对不会错过它的续集呢。Release 是电影上，在这边是电影上映的意思。Will not miss it 是绝对不会错过的。那像如果搭公车错过公车的话，我们可以说 miss the bus，这是一个 miss 的用法。Next.
But I'm not really in the mood for a sci-fi movie.
可是我对今天晚上要看科幻电影不太有什么兴趣哎。Not in the mood for something 是对什么没有什么心情去做，没有什么兴趣。相反的呢，如果把那个 not 拿掉 ，in the mood for something 是说对什么有兴趣。In the mood for soft music 就是呢想要听轻音乐的意思。Next.
Joan, come on, have you seen the first Hunger Games? It was a massive box office success. It's a gigantic adventure movie which may become one of the biggest movie franchises of this decade. It's about a dysfunctional future world in which the government selects youths from different districts to compete with one another in a televised sporting event.
别这样嘛！你看过第1集的《饥饿游戏》吗？这部电影呢，相当卖座的呢。Box office 在前几讲有提过，是票房的意思。Massive box office success 表示说呢，它票房呢有佳绩票房卖的相当的，就是相当的卖座。这可是一部大制作的冒险电影呢，还可能成为近10年来最卖座的系列电影呢。Gigantic adventure movie 呢是一个相当的大的制作，相当大的冒险患难方面的电影。Movie franchise 指的是电影系列。这部电影呢是有关于奇特的未来世界呢，在这个世界中，政府呢会从不同的区域挑选年轻人呢，让他们在电影有摄影直播的这种运动活动中呢，互相较劲，一比高下。那 select youth 指的是挑选年轻人，那 different district 是不同的区域，像我们讲信义区是信义 district，中正区呢是中正 district，那这些都是台北市的行政区域 district。 compete with one another 是相互比赛较劲。那 televised 是指电视的转播。televised broadcast on 就是 broadcast on television 在电视转播的意思。那 sports event 是一种运动的竞技。Next.
Samantha, that sounds brutal. The level of violence and brutality involving youths makes the movie almost surreal. Could we watch something that's a little more light-hearted?
哦，听起来有点残忍呢。我不喜欢这种超现实的暴力。我们可以看一些比较轻松的小品吗？那在这边呢 ，violence 是名词，它的形容词是 violent， 很激烈、暴力的。brutal 呢是形容词，残暴的。那它的名词呢是 brutality。make 是动词，使得的意思。那 make the film surreal 就是使得电影呢感觉是有点超现实，不太真实呢。Light-hearted 是形容词，就是让心情呢可以轻松一点的，就是一些轻松小品。The Hunger Games is a movie series adapting from young adult novels by Susan Collins, and these novels have been translated into 26 languages. Anthony, have you seen any of the Hunger Games?
I'm afraid I haven't. I haven't seen the movies, but I've read a lot about them.
These kind of young adult movies, teenagers really like them. Do you think in some ways these kind of novels reflect our society and also maybe the things we're concerned about in our lives?
I think so, yes. They're very popular with young people because, as they said in the conversation, they portray a dysfunctional future. This is also called a dystopian society. And utopia is a perfect world, but a dystopia is a very imperfect world. So everything in the world is wrong, but the young people are the only people who are right. And so that resonates with a lot of young people's experiences. They find it difficult to relate to the world as they're growing up, and they are okay, but everything else is wrong. So that speaks to young people, I think.
Yeah, that's right. 安东尼老师呢，就刚刚解释到，像这一类的饥饿游戏这一类的这种电影呢，是刚刚老师有提到，就是比较是反乌托邦式的一种故事内容，也就是说，这反映年轻人现在就是他们的世界跟其他人的世界是不一样的，是有一点点好像
Alone.
对，他们是非常孤单的。那但是他们内心世界呢，是有很多的正面的、好的那一面。
Yeah.
Now let's get back to our conversation.
Okay.
Next.
Joan, okay. You probably don't like sci-fi movies. So, what kind of movie do you prefer?
好吧，你感觉上好像不太喜欢科幻电影哎，那你喜欢哪一种类型的电影呢？刚刚提到的 sci-fi， 其实前几讲有讲过，就是 science fiction 科幻电影。那其他不同的电影类型，我们之前有提过 movie genre，就是不同的电影类型，譬如说 drama 是剧情片啊，喜剧片还记得吗？就是 comedy。那悲剧呢就是 tragedy。那恐怖片呢就 horror movie。那当然也有人说 scary movies。What do you prefer？ 是说你喜欢什么呢？Next.
Samantha, how about a comedy? I really need a laugh to take my mind off those complicated application procedures.
那喜剧怎么样啊？我真的需要来笑一笑，忘却那些繁琐的研究所申请程序呢。Laugh 可以当动词，也可以当名词。你的 laugh 是需要笑一下。Complicated application procedures 是复杂的申请程序。Complicated 是形容词，很复杂的。那 application 刚刚有讲过，就是申请。Procedures 是程序，或者是过程、步骤的意思。那因为通常程序呢，其实都可能会有好几个步骤，所以 procedures 这个字呢，通常会加 s。Next.
Joan, sure. Almost everyone likes a good comedy. If you like a comedy, you must like Dumb and Dumber too.
那是当然的，几乎每一个人呢都喜欢一部好的喜剧片。如果你喜欢喜剧的话呢，那可能就会喜欢那个《阿呆与阿瓜》。 那 dumb 是口语呢，愚蠢的意思。dumb and dumber 是说一个傻子，那另外一个呢又更傻一点了。那 dumb 这个虽然是 D-U-M-B， 后面的 B 呢是不发音的，所以是 dumb and dumber。Next.
Samantha, Dumb and Dumber. Isn't that an old movie that featured Jim Carrey?
阿丹与阿瓜，那不是金凯瑞主演的一部旧电影吗 ？Feature 在上一讲有提到哦，像 feature film 指的是电影的长片或者是正片的意思。A movie featured so and so 就是电影呢是由谁来主演。A movie featured Jim Carrey 指的就是电影由金凯瑞来主演。那譬如说 The Hunger Games featured Jennifer Lawrence， 就饥饿电影游戏呢是由 Jennifer Lawrence 所主演。Next.
Joan, Bingo. Dumb and Dumber 2 is a sequel from the 1984 movie Dumb and Dumber. The first movie was genuinely hilarious. I always thought there would be a second Dumb and Dumber flick, but it took 20 years to make it happen.
没错，《阿呆与阿瓜2》呢是1984年所发行的《阿呆与阿瓜》的续集。第一集呢实在是很好笑，我一直认为呢应该会有第二集的，可是谁知道第二集却等了差不多20年才上映呢 ？Hilarious 是好笑的形容词，那 genuinely 呢是真正的不做作的 ，flick 指的是电影 ，make it happen 是说让它发生。Next.
Samantha, Jim Carrey is one of the famous comic actors in the movie industry. Without a doubt, I am part of the Jim Carrey mania. I have seen many of his movies, including The Mask, Liar Liar, The Truman Show, Bruce Almighty, and Yes Man. Any movie with Jim Carrey in it, even if it's a serious film, will guarantee laughs.
在电影界呢，金凯瑞是相当有名气的喜剧演员之一。我可算是他的影迷呢。我看过他非常多的电影，其中包括有《摩登大圣》《王牌大骗子》《楚门世界》《王牌天神》《没问题先生》。任何金凯瑞有主演的电影呢，即使是严肃的剧情片，都保证呢很好笑。Without a doubt 或是 without a question， 意思也就是 definitely 很肯定的，毋庸置疑的。Next.
Joan, so we will count you in?
所以你会跟我们一起去呢 ？Count you in 就是把你算在里头，意思就是说，你就是跟我们一起喽。Next.
Samantha, definitely. When are you guys meeting?
当然，你们约在哪里呀
Joan, we're meeting at the theatre at 7:30.
？7点30分在电影院见喽。Next.
Samantha, great. I'll meet you there.
太棒了，那我就在这边在那边跟你们碰头喽。Now we'll finish with the conversation sentences. Many popular movies actually have a sequel or sequels. Anthony, do you know any movies that have very good sequels?
Yes, the one that everyone mentions is The Godfather. Godfather 2 was a very good movie. But I like Toy Story 2. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, they're, I think, very enjoyable for both children and adults.
Yeah.
Right, I like it too. 刚刚Anthony 老师有提到呢，其实有很多系列型的电影其实还不错。刚刚有提到，比如说《教父》，还有《玩具总动员》，都是很不错的电影。Now let's take a look at some vocabulary and phrases in this unit. Would you please read the vocabulary word and sentence for us?
Okay. Vocabulary. Be up to something.
正要做什么？
What are you up to? I'm heading to the library to finish my report.
你要做什么呢？或是你要去哪里呢？我正要去图书馆来完成我的报告。Next.
Sort of.
某种程度有几分的意思。
The student was sort of hoping that the class would finish early so that they could go home sooner.
这学生呢，希望课程可以早点结束，就可以早一点回家。
Tear.
动词撕开、扯裂。
Some students are torn between their part-time job and school.
有些学生呢，因为打工跟学校的课业忙得不可开交。
Cross-cultural studies.
指的是跨文化研究、
Mass communication.
大众传播。
Mass.
名词众多、很大量、大众的意思。
There was a mass of kindergarten children lining up in front of the zoo.
这里有好多幼稚园的小朋友在动物园门口排队。
Massive.
形容词，巨大的、大量的或者是大规模的。
Technology has brought massive changes in the world.
科技带来呢，世界重大的改变。
Daunting.
形容词，令人却步的，让人觉得气馁的，
Dauntingly.
是它的副词。
Handling emergencies is a daunting task in any circumstances.
在任何情况下要危机处理呢，都让人家觉得感到畏怯、害怕。
Beat one's brains out.
这是一个片语，竭力、绞尽脑汁。
I've been beating my brains out trying to solve the problem.
我绞尽脑汁呢，想办法要解决问题。
Figure out.
想出、理解、想要明白的意思。
I still can't figure out why she was angry at me last night.
我还是不明白为什么昨天他要生我的气呢？
Use a break.
休息一下。
I've finished writing 3 essays. I can use a break now.
我终于完成了3篇文章，现在总算可以休息一下了。
Take a break.
休息一下吧。
Let's take a break. We've been working for 2 hours.
我们休息一下吧。我们已经连续工作2个小时了。
Yeah. Release.
动词，发行、发表。
The newest issue of the magazine was released this morning.
最新一期的杂志呢，在今天早上呢发行了。
Sequel.
名词，续集或者是续篇的意思。
I love the first Harry Potter, but the sequels don't seem to be as good as the first one.
我喜欢呢《哈利波特》的第1集，但续集呢好像不如第1集的精彩。Actually, the sequels of Harry Potter were not bad.
Actually,
I
they
thought.
were better than the original.
You thought?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You need
Next.
to correct that sentence. Sci-fi.
名词、形容词，科幻小说或是电影。
Science fiction.
科幻电影。
Adventure.
名词，冒险。
Indiana Jones is one of the best adventure movies.
法柜奇兵呢是最佳的冒险犯难电影之一。
Comedy.
名词，喜剧。
Zone Pro Sight is a movie about traditional Taiwanese outdoor banquets. It's one of the most popular comedies in Taiwan.
中破塞呢是一部有关于传统台湾那种板斗呢的热门的台湾喜剧。
Gigantic.
形容词，巨大的、庞大的。
Frozen was a gigantic success for Disney. It broke many movie records.
冰雪奇缘是迪士尼呢很重大的、很成功的一部电影，它打破了许多的电影纪录。
Franchise.
联营的经销权或是系列的电影。
The Fresh Tea Shop has over 300 franchises in the world.
这个现泡茶店呢，在全世界有超过300家的店。
Dysfunctional.
形容词，不正常的。
They argue day and night. They have a dysfunctional relationship.
他们一天到晚吵架，2个人关系呢不太好。
Select.
动词或形容词，选择、挑选。
Tina has been selected as our class leader for the next semester.
Tina 呢被选为我们下学期的班带。
Brutal.
形容词，残忍的、野蛮的，或是粗暴的。
If someone is brutal to animals, it is unlikely he will be kind to humans.
如果有人残暴呢，对动物很残暴，那应该就不会善待人了。
Surreal.
形容词，超现实的。
My friend won the lottery last month. He said receiving the check was a surreal experience.
我朋友呢上个月中了乐透，他表示收到支票那一刻呢，让他觉得太不真实了。I wouldn't mind receiving a lottery.
That would be
Won a
nice.
lottery.
That would be nice, yes. But, you know, I'm happy with my life as it is.
Right, true. All right, this is all the time we have. Thank you for watching.